Good day. Welcome to Cracking the Code. My name is Ryan Skinner, and with me I have Christopher Ribeiro. Chris, welcome, bud.
Welcome.
So the funny part is a lot of times Chris flies under the radar, so a lot of people who watch the podcast don't see him, but he's an integral part of here at ARS. So basically, I believe everybody things happen for a reason. Call it God, call it source, call it power of the universe. If you look back at life, shit just unfolds. It does. It really, I don't know how. You can't explain it. When you're looking forward, sometimes it looks blurry, but then somehow it always works out when you're doing the next right thing. I mean, when you're doing the wrong things happen. And Chris is a great example of that. For years, I'll give you the backstory. So Chris and I came together. We were looking for somebody to handle the security side of business. I do all the fixed and the income planning. We have the accountant. We have the attorney. We had everything in place. And we were basically referring out a lot of the people when they had money in the market, because we didn't touch that. And what we were coming across, now I used to do that at a young age, so I knew enough to be deadly, meaning I knew enough to know who I wanted in here if we were going to introduce our clients to someone. And over the years, we looked, and then finally we came across Chris, and I tell some jokes about it, when we're off the air, but, he didn't just float in here. Chris was at Fidelity, and he had his master's in finance and whatnot, and more importantly, he had experience there, and most of all, he was character. I mean, Chris, the story of you and I coming together is unique. My mom was a housekeeper. His mom was a housekeeper. His mom came from Brazil. I have a lot of respect for anybody who comes in here and creates the American dream. And he's a hell of a kid. But we had some bumps on the road.
Yeah, we did. Early on, for sure.
Yeah, early on, because he came over, he was a young kid still. You still had young person tendencies. Like, you come in a little late. You're waiting for 5 o'clock to come around. And then things get real. At some point in life, whatever you want to call it, there's that jumping off point where it's like, I'm either going to be a kid, I'm going to, half-ass life, or I'm going to make it happen. And, when that changed, I
think something just clicked.
It did. It clicked on all cylinders. And when it clicked, it was amazing. It was amazing for me because I'm in recovery, so I've seen people get sober and their lives change. I've seen this happen, but I never saw somebody basically walk into the office one day a different man. And man, I don't know if it was that you took intense accountability for where you were at and kind of took the blame on mistakes. Whatever it was, the guy who walked in was a different guy. It wasn't a kid with excuses. It was a man ready to work. And look at the clients. Look at the life we have.
Yeah. Even in the past year, it's night and day.
Look what's built. I mean, it's unbelievable. I never thought we'd be able to offer every service under one roof. It was always whack-a-mole. This one was a jackass. This one I had to get rid of. I never thought we'd get it to a point where we were dialed in. I mean, Chris, people come in now, and I can literally say, hey, here's the part that we need for income planning. Here's the money we're going to keep saving. Oh, by the way, Chris and his team are going to take care of this. And I know, and these people, I say it all the time, these are my people, these are my clients. I built my life, my heart and soul here. So for me to entrust them to you, you know how I feel.
Exactly. And walking in the room, there's a different confidence, I think, because putting it together a plan, they kind of just go with, what we recommend because they really trust us. Before we kind of had to pitch it and
that's a good way of putting it. Before we were coming up with ideas and hoping they'd like them. Now we walk in, when I believe that there's a composure you get when you walk in and you own the room, meaning that when you really know what you're doing is the best thing for somebody, and deep down to the core of your body. Then, like the other day, we had that couple in there. We said to them, this is what we'd have to do to make it right. And he's like, well, what about just this part? We'll pay you for it. And that part would have been a huge payday. And sometimes the best clients you get are the ones you don't get. He sent me an email the other day saying, I just don't think it's the best fit. We just want to hire you for that one aspect. We'll pay you well. And I'm like, we're not for sale.
That's the thing. We don't just take on anyone. I think you've really preached that, especially our client base. Like, they have to fit with us.
Yeah,
that's the main thing, to be honest.
Well, how often do we meet with these people? We meet with them a ton. So if I'm going to see you 3 or 4 times a year, plus client parties, plus referral events, 7 times a year? I bet I damn well like you. I'm 46. I'm not young anymore. I don't need the business. I value it, and I do value it. And the amount of service, the effort we give these clients, the amount of heart we have in it. Mm-hmm. Like that guy, Michael, that was referred from Ken the other day. Obviously, we won't use last names. By the way, I texted Ken today to wish him well in the buyout.
Oh, yeah.
Hell of a guy. A really good guy. And you knew anybody who came from him would be a good guy. And Michael and I had all the same friends. And when he walked out of the room, like, you and I knew we made his life better.
Yeah, 100%. And we're really growing from the core in that aspect. Like, people who really trust us are, entrusting us with their loved ones as well. And especially this quarter. we had 12 couples at that last event. So
Yeah, we had
it's been
12
beautiful.
people. Yeah, it has been beautiful. It means a lot. People don't understand. It's not so much about the dollars and cents. Like Janice, for example, she was here today, and I'm talking to her. I'm thinking like, and her boyfriend's coming on board. And it means a lot because it's like a family to us, and we put so much into it that you expect it to go well on the other side, but it's never always been that way. Now it's at the point where the clients are as committed as us, and as a result, it's awesome. I mean, think about it. We have our end of the year party coming up December 12th.
Yeah.
That's a party that's bigger than most weddings.
Yeah, 200 plus people.
Oh, it's
live
insane.
band.
Live band, open bar. Man, I missed that one. Years ago, I would have crushed that. And the funny part is, it means so much to put it on. Like, there's never a time I think of the cost. Like, I really am. I'm so excited and so honored to put it on because it's a thank you. I call it the gratitude dinner. Everyone calls it the holiday party. I call it the gratitude dinner because for so much of the year, we're growing the business. We have clients. We're managing the money. We get paid. We get referrals. I always want there to be a time that's just about them.
Yeah.
No referrals, no this, no that, no BS. It's just, hey, thank you.
It's a great time to reflect, like how far we came. Even from the last event.
Yeah, it really is. This last quarter of this year, especially, has really opened my eyes to a whole new side of things. Yeah, it's amazing to see the growth. I think a number of things have come together in the last year. One, you've grown into the man that I think God intended for you to be, and I mean that. People would say, like, why do you get rid of him? Like when you were young and flaky at times, and making just bonehead mistakes like all young guys do. And my answer was character. I can't build character. I can teach anybody anything. I cannot create a good character. I can't build what your mother didn't create. Yeah. Your mom raised a nice young man, and I knew I could cultivate the rest if I could just get on board with it. And it came on board. So this last year, I've seen just so much growth in you. Honestly, selfishly, my divorce wrapping up, I think. I don't think I realized how much that was weighing on me.
Yeah,
that was a
clouds
huge
passed.
stress. Yeah, fighting for custody and this and that. Like, my daughter's my world. I also think it's been amazing. I always get emotional when I think of this. Like, the way my daughter has been adopted by this place.
Yeah.
I got my guys in AA that love my daughter and treat her like their own. But when she comes to this place, I mean, yesterday she has a half day of school. Can we go by the office?
Yeah, she was asking, right?
Yeah, she loves you guys. And she runs around the place like she owns the joint. And having a daughter, as many people know, my daughter has autism, and she's really high functioning, but she has her delays in other areas. And to know that, I'm entrusting this place, say, if I drop dead tomorrow, my daughter will be provided for, that speaks volumes. What we have is special. I mean, obviously the fact that we got offered a couple of crazy amounts to sell, and I could never sell our clients like cattle. They're our people. Like, what else would I do? This is my whole world.
Yeah.
All my friends come through here, like my loved ones. Like, if I sold my business, I would have nobody left in my life. It would be me, a pile of money,
and pick up a bad habit.
Yeah, of course, I'd be back in drugs or gambling or something. I don't know, but whatever it would be, it wouldn't be good. This place is what got me through the divorce. Having to come here every day, it got me out of myself. Because we love our clients so much, no matter what's going on in our life. I mean, I saw you go through a tough time. I remember the whole day, you're boom, boom, boom. At the end of the day, you can cry. And I've gone through that. And it's such a nice feeling to be. And I'm sure the last year, honestly, it's probably was really hard on my ex. I'm sure, she was fighting. She had a lot more financial insecurity than me. I was afraid she was taking it. She was trying to get it. And I'm sure, so in all honesty, I try to keep her in my prayers because I know it's not easy. Nobody wins in war, you know. But right now, we're at a place where that war's over.
You're working together, just going forward.
Best we can. We're not real good at it yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
But like I look at it here, that's behind me. I've got Dylan will be at the client event. She loves to go to the client event because she gets to give out the gifts to the people in the ambassador club.
Yeah.
We have an ambassador club. Basically, it's a thank you club for people who have referred us their friends or family members, their loved ones. We have a club where we have some extra educational events, some extra fun parties. In fact, we're trying to play one for January, February. It's going to be over the top. And just an extra thank you because it's those people that keep this place running, that at low cost or no cost. We could be like every firm and charge everybody a 1% fee, and make money up the wazoo, but that's not who we are. And everybody told us we couldn't run this business the way we do. They said, you're not efficient, you need more fees, you need more this, you need more that, you got to make more money. Something, we've run it really well.
Yeah, and we're actually lowering the fees for people
I
currently.
know.
So
I know.
I mean,
That's
you
the
went to
best.
war the other day for them.
The other day we get on with our back office that handles the side that Chris handles, and I just chime in. I do nothing to do with securities, but I just bark about, hey, fees, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes things I'm not even equipped to be answering. And Chris is talking about the fees. And I said, well, I remember Chris saying to our clients the fees would be a little lower, blah, blah, blah. That was the extent of it. And next thing I know, Chris comes back and he's like, right, they're lowering the fees. Exactly what he asked them to do. You've done a hell of a job, because I know it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable for me, and I've been doing this 27 years to go and have to ask those things. Yeah. At X amount of years into it, I'm sure it's nerve-wracking. That's the first time you really had a battle for a client. But you know something? I believe God shows up where we can't, because if you're wanting to do the right thing, you were fighting for clients' fees, not yours. You
Exactly.
didn't make you $1, didn't make any money for me. I know that, but you fought to get the clients a better deal, and that's the character that you have that's coming out more and more as you grow, and that's gonna be the future of this place. Like that's why it goes into the hands of somebody like you, is because you genuinely give a shit. You can't teach somebody how to care about people. Money will come and go. I told you, money's a byproduct of what we do. You're going to make money if you do your job well. It's how do you treat people? Chris, I would say that most of our job, if not all of it, is client service.
Yeah, and it's people that really belong here. That's why it makes it so easy to really service them at a high level. All of our clients are really, part of our family, and there's no one that I dislike. And there's people that I, would go to war for, if it came down to it.
And there are people literally. I tell some people if there's certain issues. I remember one client had an issue. Somebody was mean to his daughter. A guy was mean to his daughter. I said, well, I'll go off the record and go help you out. And he's like, no, I can't. They are family, and I think some people find it strange that we're so selective with who we take on. Like, why don't you take on? You remember there was a guy recently with a couple $1 million, and he was looking at me like, why don't you want my business? It's not that we don't want the business. It's just that if we don't click and we're not going to make your life better, long term, you're going to see it. It's going to come conflict, or we're going to see it. We're not going to like you. There's going to be a review, and somebody's going to get snippy. It's got to be the right fit.
Yeah, we're going to see these people like 280 more times. So
oh my God,
might as well like them.
Yeah, exactly. When you think about it, if you didn't like somebody, you've seen them that many times, you have to hear a minimum of 7 to 10 times a year, right?
Yeah.
30 years, 280 to 300 times. Yeah, they better like us. Yeah. And I tell people that too. If they're not, if the vibe's not clicking for us, it's not clicking for them. Mm-hmm. Listen, if you're out there, you're looking for retirement planning and guidance to your retirement income planning, we may be able to help you, and we're happy to sit down with you for, I call it a strategy session. I don't consider it a consultation. It's basically we strategize. What are you trying to achieve? Where are you? And how far off the mark are you? If we can help you and it's a good click and you walk in, you feel like this is home, boom, you belong here. And if you don't, we're happy to refer you to the right people, because you literally deserve to be with those people that when you walk in the door, it's home. Our clients walk in the door and they know they're home. They can drop their bag, grab some candy, do whatever the hell they want. That's their home. And that's how you should feel. I really believe that.
100%. And most people don't really have that connection with their advisor. And I think that's what really separates us from, 99% of the people out there. And even more so retirement specialists, which there aren't that many in the state anyway. So,
yeah, it's true. I mean, they're the advisors like you and the guys that handle the securities. Then there's retirement planning, income planning guys like me. And very rarely do they come together well. And very rarely do people have that vibe where they say, hey, I'm super comfortable. That's the person I want handling my stuff for the rest of my life. It's a nice thing. It's really nice when we're involved in the great things, but it's also nice when we're involved in not so great things. When people call us and they have health issues and stuff, but they care enough about us to include us.
Exactly.
And that means a lot.
We learn a lot because we spend so much time in the meetings with the clients.
Oh my God,
we learn so much about them. That's why they become family.
I mean, think about it. They have us sit in when they do their estate planning. They want our opinion. What do you think of this person? What do you think? How do we avoid? And I'll say, well, you don't like the son-in-law. You don't want him to get this. You don't want that. I would say so. That's kind of how we came together, and the way basically our philosophy about things. Now, I think what's really important is the planning side or the guidance side when we meet with people that we can help. And the reason why is I want to have a strong differential, because we don't want anyone getting the wrong impression. So I do not do securities. I do not do the advisory side on the wealth management, the actual ups and downs of the market. I don't have the stomach for it. I don't want to be involved. So my job basically is to kind of play quarterback in a sense, or coaching them. The clients come in, we run a report saying, here's what they need to live on, here's what they have, here's what they're short. How do we make up for that? And then the first thing we do is use some safety tools, to get some guarantees to secure, hey, you need an income for life. We have to close that income gap with a guaranteed income that keeps up with inflation for as long as you live. and it must be tax efficient. Anybody can get you guaranteed income. Anybody can protect the money, but tax efficient planning is a rarity. Nobody wants to do the work. You know why? If you have this much money and you do tax planning, you do a Roth conversion, you end up here because you got to pay a little taxes. Now, long term, that's good for you. But for the people managing your money, when that goes from here to here, guess what? Their pay goes down. So nobody's really advocating for it. But I will tell you, that's what makes us different. And that's my job, is to kind of quarterback that, coordinate the CPA and the advisory services, Chris and those guys, and then make sure that we have the secure income. And that's on my side. And then once we tie it together, of course, then we have to make sure there's an estate plan in place. You know, you want to make sure your money goes where you want it to go. And then again, it's got to be reviewed, in my opinion, by the CPAs. I think the most important part of it now, or what's really separating us, is the tax plan.
Yeah, the tax planning, because people come to us, they grow their assets, and then they need, help spending it in an efficient manner, like you said, and protecting it from risk for a certain portion of it. And then the money in the market that I do manage, we make sure that, especially nowadays with all the volatility, that clients aren't seeing their money spike up or down too much. So
well, that's just it. It's got to fit their goals. And some people come in and they want 50% safe, 50% risk. Some people come in and they want 25% safe. They're more of a risk taker because they have pensions. And some of my close buddies come in and they say, right, I want my money under a mattress. And my answer is, we cannot do that. But what we can do is be sensible. And I really believe that if you have a sensible amount of money safe, so you can ride out the storms, and you have the money that's in the market created so that you can time it right. In other words, you don't know what the markets you do day to day, but how much time can you give in the market, not timing the market. And if you're patient, it seems to work out. And that's why it's a good combination. A lot of times you'll go in somewhere and there'll be one advisor that says, hey, I'm a financial advisor. I do securities. And I do the insurance products. And I create the income. And they jack of all trades and they master none. I've learned to know my role. My role is to find out people's income gap and close that gap with secure income and take care of protecting the money. And the other side, the riskier stuff or the market stuff that can be volatile, I hand off to you folks, and you get to know their needs. I mean, I know that I've seen you put together portfolios. I obviously, oftentimes I'll step out because I don't like the ups and downs even watching it. But sometimes you'll put together ones that have really great upside and it has a lot of volatility for people that want to do long-term aggressive. I've also seen you say to somebody, hey, we can do this, and it's a little bit less risk on the upside, on downside, but more.
That's the thing. We really have something for everyone. Some people love risk, like you said. Some of your friends don't want any part of it. So we really do have something for everyone. And that's what makes us really a family office, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Because each of us specialize in what we do, but we don't try to do everything. So we kind of all have our own lane. So.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. You just touched on something that's key. You said a family office. For anybody who doesn't know what a family office is, typically it's where you go and you sit there and show them what you have for money, expenses, yada, yada. And they run everything from your homeowner's insurance to your money in the market. They might take some money and invest in real estate deals, you name it. They do everything. My buddy has about X amount of dollars, and he has a family office he's used down in North Carolina, because that's where he's from. And he pays them $3,200 a month. So it's like $36,000 a year, $38,000 a year. Pretty expensive for a normal person. By accident or by default, we built a family office. I said to clients all the time, I should be charging you. I didn't think of this. So years ago when I got in the business, it was just me, and I was 17, and I'm, like bright-eyed kids and get all excited. But what I realized was, in order for me to have success, I had to be different. When you're 17 or 18, I could say, I was, did this work with Peter Lynch. I got in the business. I was in the Women's World magazine as a whiz kid on Wall Street in 7th grade, 8th grade, or whatever it was. But nobody's that impressed. They look at you like, hey, you're 12. And so what I had to do was build a team around me. So first the idea was an accountant. So I met a couple of accountants. I worked with one or two. I worked with a guy who owned an insurance agency, and he was tremendous. But when Bill gave it to his son wanted to focus more on growing and making money, and the service went downhill. And I was always told, service is what counts. Yep. It really is, because as you serve people, that's what defines you.
Yeah, and that's what makes it stick.
It is what makes it stick. And then over time, I eventually got Walter, our accountant. Walter, now he's 79. He's got a Purple Heart, just a hell of a guy. And when I got him, I knew I had somebody special because he was a quality person. And then our attorney, Jerry, came around. Next thing I knew, I had a team around me. Then you fill in the gap, and we get somebody handling the market side of things. And, we have, it seemed like, and then we got Rocco and those guys in insurance. Before we knew it, we had everything a client needed under one roof without the extra fee every month. I wouldn't mind that fee every month, but our clients, most of them, even if you get $4 or $5 million, you can't afford $38,000 a year in extra fees. As a result, we were able to provide what they could get anywhere else, whether it was a $10 million client or a $100,000 client. They were getting every service they needed.
Exactly.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, because if you think about it, most people just really chase returns or they chase, money, whatever it would be. We really pride ourselves on service, and that really reflects on, all our clients. I think everyone's pretty much very happy with this.
This service to the hilt.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what I like is, so when people come on board, that we give them that 3-ring binder and it has a copy of the report where we are, has the goals where we should be next year. There's a tab for every investment. So if they have a guaranteed investment tool, that's tab number 1. Tab number 2 might be an IRA with Schwab. Tab number 3, whatever it is. Estate plan at the end, there's that little, they can put the zip drive in there. And that way, we meet a couple of times during the year, but a year later, we can meet and go over that and say, hey, here's where we were, here's where we said we were going to go. It's measurable. And because oftentimes people go see their advisor or their retirement specialist, and the person's like, oh, yeah, we did all right. We did good. The market didn't do so we didn't do so good. The indexes and the indexing tool didn't do so well or did really well. But that's like, I don't want to hear it did good, bad, okay. Yeah. I want to hear this is what happened, and if it didn't do well, this is why it happened. Like, great example. I had somebody in an indexing tool where they couldn't lose, and they were doing really well. They were consistently getting 6 to 8% returns. They were pretty happy. And then there was a year they didn't get not a dime for a return. They said, what happened? I said, well, those 2 indexes that we were marrying, those went down. So although we didn't lose money because we weren't in them, we were marrying, we didn't make money. They were like, oh, I don't like this. I was like, well, that's how there's good years and bad years. The good thing is this. If you have integrity and you meet with people and I always say show up and suit up. You know me. Let's show up and suit up. In other words, even if I'm not in the mood, even if I got a lot going on in my personal life, I throw on my clothes, I get there, and once we're there, good things seem to happen.
Yeah, and we really hold ourselves accountable. Like you said, even on the binder, we're currently updating that right now. But
we're always improving.
Yeah.
That's what I think makes us different is the fact that it's not about doing enough to get clients. Mm-hmm. We've already got the clients, the money, and the management. It's about how do we grow? How do we become better at what we do? I call it a craft. Like I always watched Tom Brady. I used to think, what drives this guy? He's getting rings all over his hands. And then I thought, it's getting better at his craft.
It's the process, yeah.
When I was younger, I first started teaching workshops. I would rehearse in front of my bulldog at the time. I would just keep rehearsing every night because I had nothing else to do. I had no money. I couldn't afford to go anywhere. My license, I had to be off the road by like 8 or 9 or whatever. My life was very small. And I went back to that in the last 12 months because I started loving it again. Something happened over the last year and a half that made me start getting my juices going. Maybe it was you came alive more, Mike came on board. Whatever it is, there's something in this place. There's an energy that I thank God for every day because this is a spark to me.
Yeah, and even in the workshops, I've noticed like your presentations. God, yeah. We refine that a lot too. Now we do a bunch of different types of them now, and we're getting a lot different clients from them, like from the tax classes and whatnot. So we're really expanding everything that we do.
Tax efficient planning is so important. And, by first of all, let me put this out there as a disclaimer, too, because God only knows. I am not a CPA. I do not give tax advice, okay? We work with folks that do this. So when clients come in, it's not that I have all these answers, that I'm licensed to do this, or this. No. My job is to find out how to create retirement income plan in the most tax-efficient manner, and then I pull in people. And that's literally all it comes down to. I don't have all the answers. Hopefully I have the humility to get the answers. And sometimes I have the humility. We lost a client we could have got 2 months ago. A guy had like $9 million, and we just couldn't get done what he wanted. And I was honest with him. I said, we can't do this. You're asking for, I'm talking about safety and secure income, and you're talking about option swaps, and it's just not. But I will tell you this. When it comes down to planning from the heart, creating relationships that last a long, long time, and enjoying the ride, brother, I don't think you can get any better than this.
No. And it's only going to get brighter from here. Yeah, we just started. If you think about it, we've only been together for how long?
We've been together about 4 or 5 years, but we've only really kicked into high gear, and we've only really taken these classes to learn more and enhance ourselves over the last couple of years. Brother, the best is yet to come.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's how we crack the code. That's it, baby.